Milwaukee finally strikes after all these years. Each year we go to Milwaukee headquarters and check out all the great tools that are coming up for the next year or so, and it's called their Pipeline event. Now, I've been going there for over 10 years now, and for the majority of that time, us and a lot of the mechanics have been asking for this, a battery-powered air hammer. Well, it's not an air hammer, but you get what we're talking about. Something to replace the pneumatic air hammers or the pneumatic hammers or the air hammers that are already out in the industry and have been for years, but replace it with a battery-powered unit. Now, kind of, sort of, Milwaukee already does this with a rotary hammer, but they aren't exactly the same, and you don't want to be taking a huge rotary hammer underneath the car or a vehicle and removing ball joints, and a lot of times you probably wouldn't even get it to fit, and it's just not the right tool for the job. But they finally released this. This is the Milwaukee M18 Fuel Striker, and it's their hammer chisel is what they're naming it, but let's just call it the battery-powered air hammer because that's what it's replacing, or that's the idea anyway, but let's actually see if it will actually stand up to the task. Now, let's dive into some of the specifications and some of the description and features of this tool, look at it a little closer, and then we'll actually put this thing to use like it should be. Here we are just a little bit closer, and we have the Milwaukee bobblehead. So you see right away, this is one of the biggest questions we get is, oh, it's going to, vibrate batteries to death, and it's going to ruin batteries and all that type of stuff. And Milwaukee thought of that long before the Striker, or during the Striker, and during all their impact wrench makes as well, in the fact that they're isolating the battery, and not completely, obviously, it still has to be wired in, but there is a battery isolation suspension system right here. You see this black part that's separate from the red part? So there's actually rubber bushings in there that allow this to kind of shake around. In fact, I've got some slow motion footage of impact wrenches at work when they figured that out with their 3/4 inch and 1 inch impacts, where they're actually isolating that battery because they knew that was a potential issue when they started making very heavy impact tools, heavy hitting impact tools, not necessarily just heavy. So the isolation's there. We shouldn't have a battery breakage issue because of the vibrations or the hitting of the tool. They have thought of that. The reason they say that it took so long to come out with this tool, because for years, mechanics and also people like us have been asking for this tool because it's been a big need in the industry. And the reason it took so long, because I believe they have a patent that's a few years old, is just the fact of being able to pack as much power in a small enough package to be able to release something they were proud of, without it being astronomically big. And it may look a little long, but it's only a tad bit longer than your long barrel pneumatic hammers, or about the same length. In fact, let's go ahead and measure this. So without a bit in there, from front to back, you're looking at right at 1 foot. So right at 12 inches long. And as far as height with the battery, and I have the XC 8.0 on, right at 12 inches as well. So you can look at 12 inches long, 12 inches tall. And as far as width goes, about like an impact wrench, about like a full-size impact wrench, so 3.28 inches as far as across the widest part. So not too bad. As far as weight is concerned, it will be, and we'll weigh it with this 8 amp hour battery. Of course, it'd be a little less with a 5 amp hour, 6 amp hour, etc. But I think you get that part. Zero this out. And yeah, 9 pounds, 1 ounce. So it's not a light tool by any means. But again, this is one of those tools you're not looking to get in little tight spaces, right? You're supposed to get into places, use this heavy hitter, and get out and be done with it. So you're expecting a heavy tool that's going to be doing some heavy hitting. So 9 pounds with the battery, and 12 inches long, 12 inches tall, and a little over 3 inches wide. Now, as far as power of this tool, it's measured in joules, and that's kind of striking energy, right? And that's 7 joules. So I don't know how big a joule is. Is it as big as a horsepower or a horse torque? I'm not sure. But 7 joules of energy, I think they measure most of your rotary tools and striking tools like that as well. So that gives you an idea of the striking force on this. Some of the really cool features on this are, number one, just a quick and easy way to insert bits And it comes with 2 of these bits. And you see it's not going to slide in there, but just a quick turn, going to lock that in there, and now it's locked into place. And a quick turn will pull that out as well. So no spring you have to turn, and it's not really hard to turn either. And that is kind of rubber coated right there, so you kind of get some grippage. And it's rubber coated right here where you can easily hold that snout while your hand is on the trigger. Now the cool feature is we get 3 different speeds. Not really, you really get 2 different speeds as far as max speed's concerned. And then you get the ramping effect. So that's that 3rd little light right there. So you get speed 1. And by the way, you still get a variable speed trigger. So even in speed 1, I can vary that trigger as to how much power I want. Speed 2 is going to give me a little more power, and that's going to be up to 3,000 blows per minute or 3,000 BPM. But then that 3rd light right there, that's going to give me a ramp effect. So if I just pull the trigger, you see how it slowly ramps up. So it kind of gives you some control. You don't have to feather the trigger. You can just pull it, and it's still going to start slow and then start going. So if you were chiseling something and you wanted to kind of get it started, then that gives you that ability to do that. And that's going to be only in speed 2. And then we get an LED light here at the base as well to help shine a little light if you need to wherever you're using this. Now the trigger area and kind of the base of this looks a lot like their impact wrenches and their drills, kind of the same pistol style grip with the rubber overmolding. No complaints about that. Typical trigger. There is no trigger lock or trigger slide right here. Just pull the trigger and it goes, and your button's going to do the modes. And then if you hold the button down, that's going to put it in lock mode, and then it's not going to be active at all. And then you have to hold it again, and then that's going to take it back to either speed 1, speed 2, or the speed 2 with the ramp up. Now what comes with the tool are these 2 bits right here. So a typical chisel style bit from Milwaukee and a hammer bit from Milwaukee. This is good for, you know, hitting things hard and blunt, and obviously this is great for getting in between spaces or making a space where there is no space and chiseling it out. And again, they're going to feed in here rather nicely. They do have a 401 thousandths inch shank. Now, just how did that conversation happen? How did 401 thousandths of an inch become the standard or become the go-to for the shank size? I mean, was it 2 engineers standing by going, hey, what's the size of that shank, George? Well, it's coming in at 400 thousandths. Well, Bob, let's add 1 to that. Add 1, you mean like 500 thousandths? No, let's just add 1. Like 401 thousandths? You want it to be 401 thousandths of an inch, not 400 thousandths of an inch, not 4/10ths of an inch, but 0.401. Yep, that's what it's going to be. Say, Bob, are you the engineer that still has the 28 volt tools from Milwaukee? We'll never know, but it has a 401 thousandth shank. And apparently that must be kind of a standard size anyway. If I'm measuring, well, right at 401. So kudos to the engineers and to manufacturing of, well, there's 399. Depends on where I measure it. Sometimes I get 401 or 400.5. Anyway, a 401 shank, and that's pretty standard. Here's a Sun X bit that is going to measure in, well, right at 401, and is going to fit in this tool as well. So it will accept your typical air hammer style bits with no problem. And also, Milwaukee is releasing a bit set also of hammer chisel bits, where you get a 5-piece kit with the chisel style bit, which is the one that comes with, I believe. Yep. And also one with like a cutting chisel. This is for cutting sheet metal. We'll actually use this here in one moment. And this will be good for like pushing out studs, things like that. And again, a bigger hammer chisel for knocking out studs or knocking out ball joints, things like that. So 5 pieces that come in a kit. I believe that sells for 130 bucks. Now, while we don't have a vehicle on the lift with a ball joint issue right now, we will shortly. We'll definitely try that out. But this is a bushing, and this is for basically a support brace on the front differential of your Silverados, Tahoes, Escalades, Yukons, things like that. Help support the front diff or the kind of the front drive side of things. And pretty common failure are the bushings go bad in this. And by the way, a lot of times you might see these bushings together. In fact, we pulled this out of there and it might feel kind of okay, but once you realize it was really all to pieces and it was just kind of sitting in there a little bit firm, but once you put thousands of pounds on it and flexing, that thing moves a lot and you get a lot of clunking and everything else. So very common failure here that maybe from the, just from the looks of it, may not look like you've got a failed bushing, but many times that is the case. And most of the time people are replacing this whole thing, but still giving you an idea of something where we've got to drive a bushing out. And in this case, I'm just going to use a regular old chisel or chisel tip, if you will, to drive this out. Now, I could get on this lip here, this backside lip, but I'd probably just roll it right out or cut it right off. So I'm first going to kind of fold this thing down and let's put this in one. And there we go. I would say less than a minute of persuading this. Pushed it right out. By the way, if you wonder why bushings sometimes are really held in there, see that green stuff? That's your strongest Loctite. That's your sleeve retaining fluid. And so it's not only pressed in good, it's also glued in really well. Also, a little advice, when you have these, like we have right in here, if you can see that, you've got some of that sleeve retaining stuff that's stuck in there, and you might have some marks in there and stuff like that. If you'll take, in this case, the Milwaukee right angle die grinder, and I've got a Weiler wire brush wheel. Yes, this is made for 20,000, 25,000 RPM. Don't use a standard wire brush, but this one's made for this. But watch this. You see how small it is? Watch this happen. And that's perfect for cleaning that out with two hands. Even clean that outside lip. I love cleaning bushings up or bushing places with this tool right here. Now this opposite side one here is still got the innards inside of it. Sometimes this can pose a problem when trying to drive these out. So I won't spend too long on this, but again, with the center still in there, sometimes you can't get enough kind of folded in for it to go. Puts a lot of pressure on that bushing. But let's see if we can get this to push out. A little more persuasion on that one to get it. Now we're ready for new bushings. And now here's another use for this air hammer or hammer chisel or whatever you want to call this. And I'm going to put in one of the bits that come with the Milwaukee 5-piece kit. Doesn't come with the air chisel or with the hammer chisel. We could probably use this one, and maybe even if you wanted to save this, put a nut on it and drive it with the nut. And I'm going to use my ramp effect. We'll try the bigger one. No problem at all. Well, let me show you a tip for driving it out with the smaller tip. Put your piece of conduit, preferably a piece of pipe in there. And there we go. quick work of any type of wheel studs or something like that. Now, there are a couple more tips that come in the Milwaukee set, in the Milwaukee 5-piece bit set, that are used a lot of times in body work or sheet metal, things like that. That's these 2 tips here. Now, this one, I don't think you have a lot of control over it, or as much control as this one, but let's just use this one and I'll show you how it works, and then we'll use this one. So obviously the little groove right there, we could take this and put it in our sheet metal. And be able to cut what we need to get into something. But to me, it kind of wanders. It gets the job done, but you're not doing any finesse stuff. Now, let's say we had something that we needed some sort of a pattern or some sort of control. Would help if I got you in the shot. So some semblance of a pattern, right? So let's take this tip out, put in this tip, and now we'll take this little tongue in the middle there, and we can put this either on the outer edge or the inner edge, whichever side we're wanting to keep, or maybe we want to put it right down the middle. And now we can actually follow a pattern with that tip. Now, time will definitely tell with a tool like this, because this is going in the hands of mechanics that aren't doing tire and lube stuff. They're the ones, they're going to be doing suspension stuff. They're going to be doing some probably heavy duty truck stuff, maybe even getting into heavy equipment and things like that, where you're really needing to put a pounding on things, literally the striker, right? And so time will tell with kind of longevity of this, is it going to hold up in the field? That's something that we can't do without, replicating a job, 500 times over and, hammering some ball joints in and out for, the next 5 or 6 weeks. So we will continue to use this. We'll put it in the hands of some professional mechanics to actually see what they think. We'll use it in the shop on some ball joints and removing some ball joints as well. But we are very ecstatic about having the Striker and having that as part of the Milwaukee arsenal now. It is not a cheap tool by any means, and we'll get to that here in a moment and talk about warranty, but very impressed with the M18 Striker thus far. Now, if you're wondering about pricing, it's not going to be a cheap tool at all, and it's going to come as a bare tool. I'm sure down the line you'll be able to pick this up, in a package that comes with a tool and the battery and a charger. But for right now, just for the Striker, you're looking at $599 or $600. That does come with 2 tips. It comes with a chisel tip and a hammer tip, but no battery on it, just the tool, and these 2 bits are going to run you $600. Also, they sell a 5-piece with the chisel tip, with the metal cutting tip, the other cutter tip, I think what do they call it? The pinpoint tip, and the hammer tip, and that's going to run you $130 for that 5-piece kit. It comes with a 3-year warranty, and look for this coming out in the next couple of months. We'll have a link in the description. There's several places you can actually pre-order this. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you hated our video, well, give us a thumbs down. But let us know in the comments why. Have a great day, and keep smiling.